Hey, I'm back. And those of you that are following my book journey, The Read of the Game, it looks like this. And it can be purchased on my website at consciouspress.net. Thus far, we have finished up to chapter 7. And I'd like to get you guys started on chapter 8. Let's get right into it. Chapter 8. When Goldie had awakened that afternoon, to his surprise, he had slept the majority of the day away. It was 10 after 4 in the afternoon, and he knew that Carla would be pulling in from work at any moment. He really didn't want to see her until the following day. He didn't want to start anything that he couldn't finish. He wanted their first actual get-together to be special, of quality, and in large quantities of time. He still had a few ends he needed to tighten up, so he washed up a bit, brushed his teeth, and grabbed his jacket. He figured that he would make a run for it. On the outside of the hideout, Goldie backed his car out of his parking spot. He believed he would never make it out of the area without seeing Carla. And no sooner than he reached the end of the development in passing, she pulled her car up alongside of him. Goldie smiled as he let his car window down and said, "Hey, beautiful." Carla showed him her whites. "Hi, Goldie." He asked, "What's going on?" She placed her chin onto her arm onto the door and peered over at him. She replied, "Oh, nothing. I'm just getting in from work. I was going to ask you the same thing. Well, I have a few runs to make, after which I plan to rest up until tomorrow for our outing." All of a sudden, Carla got out of the car and walked over and stuck her head into Goldie's car window and kissed him on the cheek. She said, "Thank you for the flowers. They are beautiful." After the kiss, Goldie's body began to turn warm. He watched her closely and replied, "They aren't half as beautiful as you are." Carla was wearing a sweater dress that fit every curve of her beautiful, shapely body. She felt herself blush with embarrassment. She said, "Why, thank you." After sitting there, admiring her for a few moments, Goldie felt the dress had forced his hand. He asked, "How about a nightcap?" Carla smiled at the thought of the prospect. She had been literally standing there holding her breath. Finally, she exhaled and replied, "I thought you would never ask." He returned her smile. "Yeah, okay. I'll stop by your place upon my return." She replied, "I'll be expecting you." After a few moments of an awkward staring session, Carla got back in her car and continued on her way home from work. Goldie sat there for a few moments, thinking, "Damn, I'm in love." Carla was the only woman he had ever met that increased his heart rate and made his palms sweat. When Goldie got into town that evening, his first stop was Shonda's place. He parked his car a block over and walked around to the house. He made his way to the back door where he removed his small key ring and opened the door to the basement. As he entered the basement, he found Smooth standing on the other side of the door with his pea shooter in hand, gun in parentheses. Goldie asked, "What's up, man? How's it coming?" Smooth closed and locked the steel door behind him. And then he concealed his weapon into the small of his back. He replied, "Oh, it's been coming." Goldie stood there for a few moments, looking around the spacious room. With all of the architectural ideals he once had concerning the basement. Then he looked over to his right into the only furnished area of the room. Smooth walked over and took a seat on the sofa beside an end table that held a lamp and a 40-ounce bottle of beer unopened. Rap music played lowly. Goldie looked over at him intensely and said, "Smooth, I want you to lose the beer. I need you to be fully alert and able to think in this situation. I also want you to lose the music because I don't want your judgment impaired if something should happen. Right now, you need to be able to hear everything around you." As Smooth got up off of the sofa, he retrieved the bottle of beer off of the end table. Then he walked over and turned off the radio. Goldie continued, "All right, let's shut it down and get out of here. Let's walk and talk." After locking the basement door behind them, Goldie and Smooth walked down toward Ransom Avenue. And it seemed that everybody knew Goldie. "Hey, Goldie, what's up, Goldie? Hey, player," and so on. As they made their way down the avenue, Goldie decided to give Smooth some more of this thing called game. He noticed two guys standing out on the corner in front of the Somewhere Else bar. He called Smooth's attention to them and asked, "Do they get high?" Smooth replied, "Yeah, Goldie, you know who that is." Goldie smiled. "That's beside the point. I asked you, did they get high? My point is, if they get high, they scheme and rob, so you need to be a step ahead of them at all times." As they approached the bar, Goldie removed two $20 bills off of his bankroll and asked the two gentlemen, "What's up, players?" One of the gentlemen replied, Hey, Goldie, what's going on and what brings you out here tonight?" The other gentleman nodded. Goldie said cheerfully, "The same thing that brings you out here. I'm trying to shred my oats." "You guys know my man Smooth, don't you?" The gentleman replied, "Yeah, but we had no idea that he was your man." Goldie smiled. "Yeah, that's my man. Look here. Here's a little something for you guys." As they entered the bar, Goldie handed each of them a $20 bill. Then he and Smooth overheard the two gentlemen rapping on, and one of them said, "Goldie's fly as hell." The other, "That's my man." Now on the inside of the bar, Goldie and Smooth grabbed a couple of bar stools, and people had immediately began to come over and talk with him. They were offering him drinks. Fellow players were asking when they were going to hang out, and it seemed as though every woman in the bar was either waving or winking at him. When the barmaid spotted Goldie, she showed him her whites from afar and rushed right over to take his order. She placed her hands onto her hips, looking at him seductively, and said, "Hey, stranger." Goldie smiled. "Down. What does a man have to do around here to get a drink?" She placed her hands down onto the bar and looked into his eyes intensely. "Goldie, don't you start no shit with me tonight. You know I would have you do some real freaky shit." He returned her intent look. "Yeah, if given the opportunity, I bet you would." She eased a little closer to him over the bar and said, "I would, Goldie. I would." Goldie eased back on his bar stool and accepted in acceptance of what had obviously returned into a stalemate. He replied, "Give everyone my warmest regards," which actually meant give everyone a drink, compliments of Goldie. After everyone had been served a drink in the small, semi-crowded bar, Dow the barmaid returned to Goldie for payment. And as she placed Smooth and Goldie's drink down onto the bar before them, she said, "You got off rather cheap tonight. The damage is only $230. As he handed Dow $250 and 3 bills, he replied, "These are my people, and for my people, I can never do enough." When she returned with his change, he told her to keep it, because she sure as shit couldn't have him. Dow smiled. Goldie tapped Smooth and said, "Let's get out of here." On the outside of the bar, Smooth asked, "Why did you just do all of those things and just get up and leave?" Goldie told him to walk and talk because there were a few people around, and Goldie knew that this thing called game wasn't for everybody. He continued, "Smooth, the $40, two 20s, was nothing. I hit those guys off, gave them the money, because I would rather have a ruthless joker on my side than against me. It was also an opportunity to make my presence known in that what you do in the area. So they won't scheme, rob, or play games with you. If they want something from you, they will ask you. Now, depending upon how you treat the people will determine how long you last. And even more important, how they will treat you. Now, whenever I'm out in the bars in this area, people always want to buy me drinks. So now and then, it's only right that I give back. With moves like that, you'll have people protecting you that don't even know you. Someone can say, I don't like Goldie. And a guy that I don't even know who got one of those drinks or that I was kind to will say, Goldie's cool as hell. You just have to get to know him. Smooth, you have to pay to play. The only solution for needing is to give, and you receive out of everything that you put into what you give. As Goldie and Smooth made their way down the street from the bar, Smooth asked, "Are you going back around to the house?" Goldie pointed a finger over toward his car in the distance. He replied, "Nah, I'm parked right up the street here." Smooth, call in. I want you to get another pack, plus what you already have. Knock it dead, get rid of it all, and shut down until tomorrow morning. I want you to go home, hang out, whatever. But I want you to do some thinking. I want you to digest some of this pimping, man. Hey, man, all of this shit is real. What you do out here in these streets can determine whether you live or die. Oh, and Smooth, I'll see you in a few days. You will have to call in for what you want in the morning. After then, it's back to the basics. Turn in the get. Same procedure. Smooth smiled to himself as he extended a hand in Goldie's direction. He listened attentively, and as always, Goldie's lessons were very pleasing to his ears. Goldie accepted his hand and pulled him into an embrace. He replied, "I'm counting on you, player. Hold the fort down. I have to run. Later." Goldie got into his car and drove off for the hideout. He knew that Carla would be waiting on him. He snatched his car telephone and got Teresa on the line. Now, when Teresa received Goldie's telephone call, she was sitting in the living room in his easy chair with soft music playing while looking through a few of the photo albums that she had accumulated in reference to the both of them and quality time spent together. Goldie gave her instructions for the next couple of days to carry out in his absence, and then he cleared the line. Teresa sat there in his easy chair, holding the telephone along her beautifully oval-shaped face. She was hoping that he knew how much she really loved him and needed him. After a few moments, she reached over and placed the cordless telephone down onto the end table and had reverted back to the photo albums that laid upon her lap. There were all types of photographs of the two of them that ranged in span from inside to outside of the country. We're talking in-state Maine to Florida, resorts, beachfronts, beaches, hot air balloon rides, and the rental of small private planes concerned in travel, often. There were action parks, party boats, dinner on boats, shows, museums, protest rallies, and various marches throughout a variety of cities. There were also casinos in Las Vegas and Atlantic City, and they had eaten just about everywhere. Teresa often reverted back to her past experiences and collectible items concerning time spent with Goldie. She believed that this was the only way for her to always remain close to him, even in his absence. And that's chapter 8. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you. And you know we're going to get to that next chapter shortly. I'm grateful. Please don't forget to like and share, follow, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's talk about it. Whatever it is, bring it forth. Anyway, have a good night. Love you guys. Peace.